Hello, welcome to the Trade Game channel. This is Daniel. It's January the 13th, and we are going to talk about trading cryptocurrency. This is just going to be an overview. We're going to hit a few different coins, price action, and just talk a little bit about them, and where we think, or I think, that they may be going. Um, but when you're talking about the cryptocurrency market, it tends to be very useful to always be looking at Bitcoin. And so, while we don't actually have a Bitcoin bot open right now, I certainly do trade these things uh, in terms of like perpetuals, futures contracts. Um, and So I do tend to watch Bitcoin as well. So what have we had happening with Bitcoin since the last time I did a video? Sorry, it's been a minute since the last time I made one of these. Last video I did, I was in the hospital where I work, and uh, we had been snowed in, and so I was staying the night over at the hospital there, and was just sort of made a video, and then got a few hours of sleep, and then got up and went back to work. And that's how you do it when you're in healthcare. But all right. So in the daily chart, I have marked in purple these two areas. These are trade value gaps that were created. I believe that I was just marking these on the weekly chart, which is why they don't seem to match up with anything. Yeah. So I've been marking these two trade value gaps, or rather fair value, I should say. I forget that. From after we had this big push up here in November, because that would have created inefficiencies in the market and would have created these fair trade value gaps. And market tends to like to fill these in. They don't always fill in, but just in terms of chart analysis, that's a thing to be aware of. And it wouldn't surprise me too terribly if other people on the market also have these values uh, marked out and are also looking at them. And the reason that I say that is we had, it looks like, a big old crash in the price of Bitcoin. Not surprising to me, really. Uh, I think I had speculated that we might move upwards and continue ranging in this sort of wedge pattern, but it looks like we might still kind of do that, but we just had one more push of selling pressure, and hopefully we sort of set a bottom. But we have, since this big push upwards, have come back down on two of these wicks, these very sudden wicks, and touched, or just sort of almost kind of touched into this fair value gap, and we did it again this other day. And so the fact that we've gone down to like 89,000 level, going down to it again, and then pushed all the way back up to almost closing the green candle, not quite here, um, suggests that there's quite a bit of support for Bitcoin at this price range at like 88, 89,000. That's what's considered, what people are kind of feeling like is really cheap price for Bitcoin. And big institutional investors may have um, are perhaps more interested in buying in and placing orders kind of in this area than they are closer to 100,000, um, down here in the fair value gap. Um, so what that kind of means is that in the short term for Bitcoin, we may see another move to the upside, right? Because we just had a big push down, and then now we've kind of come back up off the top. But but we're still sort of in more or less respecting this kind of flag or wedge or whatever you want to call it pattern. We went down and tested beneath it a little bit here, but we did find support, and now we're back up in it. So I mean, this could be a sign to come that we may push back up and then break down into the 80,000s or the 70,000s for Bitcoin soon. Um, but we'll kind of have to see because it did find support again at this like $89,000 level where it did when it had a crash back here as well. So that this may be the bottom, the floor for this consolidation phase is this 89,000 dollar level. But for the time being, we still seem to be kind of consolidating and ranging and moving in a downwards pattern with Bitcoin. And so while we might see some bullish motion here, and I mean, you never know. This could have been the bottom of this pattern. We may just go up from here. It's kind of hard to say. Um, uh, in fact, it wouldn't terribly surprise me if we did, given that we came back and touched the fair value gap and we had a big pump following that before. But then again, mm, I don't know. I don't know if MicroStrategy is going to be able to produce enough capital to put in big buy orders and kind of keep Bitcoin's price up. If other companies get interested in doing it, perhaps, but or other governments, but we'll just have to see what's in particular the U.S. government wants to do if they want to buy up Bitcoin. That would certainly okay, sure, um, make a difference. But in terms of the projects that we had going on, um, let's run through those real quickly here. Um, oh well, here I maybe should kind of explain more about this channel that I had marked out previously. So we we're kind of showing signs of a reversal here. Looks like we're in a downward channel, made a bottom here, and then I had drawn out a channel saying speculatively maybe we'll continue up this way, and we did indeed have a little bit of bullish movement kind of for a little while there, but it didn't really stick to this trajectory that I was thinking. So instead, probably really this is just it had a consolidation phase. It broke out and then corrected down, came back up, challenged that again, and then they just did price discovery and sort of had to figure out where to go from there. Wasn't able to break successfully to the upside. Formed kind of a double top here, equal highs, and then got rejected downwards. But found support around this like $89,000 line. Um, and then a whole bunch of people went, okay, so this is the bottom, um, and then started going along, started buying in, thinking, okay, well, might as well get in while I can get this good cheap price for Bitcoin. So now we're right back up at 94,000, and we're gonna kind of see what happens from here on the hourly. This may be the bottom, or it may just come right back down because it kind of looks like we set um, a relative low here, a low high compared to this most recent one, and so we might just start ranging down and just further consolidate down into this fair trade or fair value area. So uh, that's one possible way to view what we're seeing uh, uh, here with the price of Bitcoin, at least on the 1 hour. Uh, yeah. But ultimately, the market's gonna do what it wants to do. Hmm. Yeah, we'll leave that alone for right now. We got plenty of lines going on already. Uh, I was gonna say this could be kind of a flag pattern forming here, but we'll just see. Um, so for the time being, Bitcoin is still ranging kind of on the lower side of where we had anticipated it trading for the next stage of its sort of consolidation before we move and hopefully do price exploration in a new range in this bull market. Yeah. So looking at our other projects, there's this one that I'm more concerned about. Our Solana bot really is kind of following along with um, Bitcoin in terms of its pattern. Looks like it broke out of a wedge here on the daily. When Bitcoin was rallying, probably we sort of had a sympathetic thing, and then also the same thing when this is going down. It would be great if we could see a reversal in the bigger picture. This guy is going to be in loss. So, I don't know. Depending on how much this swings up for Solana, I may sort of. I don't know. Solana has not had as much of a rally into like new areas of price uh, in November the way Bitcoin and others did. So it's still sort of ranging. It got up to about the price where it was earlier this year, and now it's just sort of consolidating in a downwards pattern. So this, it may have set a bottom here. This may be the dip of the dip, but it's really kind of hard to tell. um, so depending on how much this one swings back up, I don't know if I don't know. We'll have to see if this doesn't if this starts looking a little bit more improved. I may decide to cut my losses and just close the bot out. Hopefully, it'll retrace a little bit here, but on some level though, like I don't want to take too much, close the bot when it's in too much of a loss because at some point you do have to sort of let these things play out and see how they do, and just take your losses in stride because you can learn. You can learn more from your losses than you do from your victories typically in life and everything. So for now, we're just going to kind of see how Solana is doing. I would expect a swing up for the next day or two in Solana after such a tremendous amount of selling pressure and then buying pressure um, back up to here. But we're not looking super strong. So we may have a couple of green candles for a couple of days in Solana, but it's not showing a tremendous amount of strength um, at the moment. But we're just gonna have to see. That's where Solana is at in my view currently. Ape Coin. We had an Ape Coin bot going. What happened here? Um, okay, so Ape Coin. It looks like uh, has broken down out of its wedge pattern, and so um, it may be about to break out to the downside. That would be unfortunate. If so, the spot would stop trading for a little bit and kind of be in this red area and wouldn't be active, but it's not really the end of the world if it does. It's also possible, conceivable, though, that Bitcoin or these other properties will rally and ApeCoin will kind of, in sympathy, range up and go a bit higher. We'll have to see, although it is obviously in a downwards pattern overall on the daily. Um, on the daily chart. Yeah, no, so this seems to be breaking to the downside. Now it doesn't mean, just from a pure TA standpoint, it may rally back up and sort of try to reclaim this wedge, or it may move back up and challenge the bottom of it, find resistance, and then go down. But we'll just have to kind of see how this develops over the next couple of days. I don't think that we had any smaller time frame analysis really for this one in particular. But also, this is just a project that at this point has extended its liquidation value super, super low. So I'm not worried about the bot getting liquidated. So it's sort of, I can just let this ride for as long as I need to. And I'm not going to, it's not really a great idea to me to spend what time I have for these sorts of projects reanalyzing something that's doing just fine. Um, okay, and then Dogecoin. I'm telling you, I have good expectations for Dogecoin generally in the future. Um, both our bots are doing totally fine on Dogecoin. We had a bigger one with 5 times leverage, and then we had a smaller one that had kind of a liquidation price that is actually uh, too far away. Where is it? It's 2, 7, yeah, 8. Well, that's interesting. Actually, it moved up slightly. That kind of happens, but also, despite having a pretty big dip in the price of Bitcoin, it's interesting that the liquidation price is not going down any. But then again, the price action of Doge has gone down, and so the bot, being a long bot, its positions will start to go into less profit and also into loss. So, I mean, it. That's what I'm saying is this is all fine. I'm not super worried about our higher leverage bot here, but it's worth keeping an eye on though, because it does not have enough margin yet to secure itself as much as I would like against liquidation. Although it is not a very large bot, I didn't put a whole lot of money into it. One of the nice things about grid trading a coin that has that's less than $1. I did $1, less than $1 in price, or less than $2, or kind of a one that doesn't have each coin is not a whole lot in terms of its exchange rate with U.S. dollar, because you don't have to put up as much money up front to start a bot on them, just to have enough margin to satisfy the needs of the bots to get it started. All right. So anyway, we're doing fine here. Doge looks like it broke to the downside of its wedge that's forming here on the daily chart, but it also looks like it found quite a bit of support pretty easily. It didn't go down and test this low right here really at all. So for the time being with Doge, I don't think we're really going to have any issues. I think if anything, probably we could just kind of redraw this wedge a little bit to account for this new low. Um, and we probably still have a perfectly legitimate pattern. Um, it's just finding support until it breaks down really below like here, or it's just not ready to break out yet, basically. But looking very strong compared to some of these other coins relative to Bitcoin. Is all I'm saying for Dogecoin. Um, the next one, let's see, XRP. We had an XRP bot going. Now my XRP guys, it looks like are doing actually quite well. XRP is trending up and is broken off. It looks like it was toying with the top side of this wedge pattern for a little while, and it's finally broken above it. Now that doesn't mean that it's not going to swing down at any point. It could. It's not that unusual for these to come down. It does look like when we had a selling pressure, we had a challenge to the price of XRP. It looks like it went down and actually found support uh, right around this trend line, right around the top of this wedge pattern, which is sort of interesting. Um, but it may go down and challenge this again. Um, Although at the moment it looks like we went down, found support, and now we're sort of in an upward move. So XRP, yeah, may have super bullish couple of days here, maybe. Although it will, of course, have. Oh well, no, because it went down, so it satisfied its value gap here. Yeah, no, it XRP may be good to go for a long, but the thing is though, man, I am telling you, sometimes with these wedge formations, they'll do this, they'll break out, and you could consider that a retest right here, where it came back down, it broke out to the upside and then was challenged and successfully came back up. Um, but sometimes they also will go meh and go the wrong way and then go up. So this may be a good indicator of what direction XRP is going to go, but it's possible that we may see we may see a move to the downside, and that might be where the real long trade is for XRP. But for us, fortunately, we are great trading in a systematic way. We've already got our positions open and going. Um, we're not anywhere close to being out of our grid for these. Um, I was keeping track of the liquidation range for this one, and I had a red line for it. Has it moved really? Yeah, a little bit. This one, the liquidation is now that. So its liquidation value has gone down a little bit. Um, Not a super tremendously large amount, but it's something. It is. It is something. Uh, all right. So now, when remember when you're looking at these grids, I'm not using these long position indicators in the usual way. The way I use these when I'm talking about my activities on this channel, because I'm doing grid trading, um, which is not to say that I don't have long and short positions open necessarily, just regularly, but um, what I'm using these charts for, the bottom of the red box is not my stop loss, it's the liquidation value for the bot. And so if the price action gets down to here, one of these two bots will get liquidated. It's the one with the shorter grid here. And that's the 5 times leveraged bot. This other one, which you can see, I've added a red line here to kind of make it easier to pick out. That's the liquidation value for this second bot with the lighter green here. And I'm just sort of keeping track of that. That's an 8 times leveraged bot. So it's got a little bit higher leverage. Its liquidation value is a little bit closer to the price action relative to where it started. So it's going to be a little bit more prone to being accidentally liquidated. But it being slightly higher leverage also means that it'll build up margin faster, and we will benefit more from the action of the bot trading proportional to how much money we invested into it. But my interest when getting these going in particular is can it build up enough margin to make its liquidation value go down to a safe area. Um, and so that's I'm sort of monitoring that higher leverage bot and keeping this red line here, because that's where I don't want the price action to go for that bot. The other one, the 5 times leveraged one, it can go down a pretty good long ways before we really get into any issues. And right now, as long as they're both of these guys are in their grid, and in the way I have this set up, the the green area is not just it's not the area in which the trade is in profit. It's the area in which the bot is trading on its grid. And so the entry lines here, the gray lines, are the bottom of the grid on which my bots are trading, and the top of the green area is the top of the trading grid. So what we want is we want the price action to be in this green area because that's where the bots are going to be actively trading and generating some return on investment just through the action of the price moving up and down. Um, but if they get too far below, they can get liquidated and you lose your investment. So you kind of that's this is bad if the price gets down into here. Um, and the idea is that over time the bots will generate some return on investment, and by holding that revenue, that margin that they create, the bots can secure themselves against liquidation automatically by just having that margin sort of attached to them. Um, and so they will trade and make some money, make some return, as long as are within this price range of about $1.88 up to $6 for XRP. Um, but if they get up above this grid, that's also perfectly fine. If they get up above this grid, then basically the bots just turn into regular long positions that we can watch and close and take profit whenever we feel like it. Or we can just kind of hang on to it, and if the price dips back down, it'll start trading again and start producing margin, start producing return on investment. So this is a way to trade that I think is a smart way, especially if you're sort of like me and you don't have 10 or 20 years of trading on the market experience. You're still trying to learn. Doing things this way, if the value of this coin or this asset moves sideways, then we'll still get our return on investment. We'll still do just fine over the long term. It's really not a big deal if it goes sideways. If it goes up, which is what we expect for XRP, it's got a lot of interesting, good prospective things happening related to it in the financial world, especially in Asia. Um, if we expect this to do well over the next year or two, uh, this may um, this may well get up over its grid, and then hooray, great. But it also will go into profit as it gets higher in the grid, and we can either hold it and let it trade, and or we can close it and take profit whenever we feel like it. But um, so this is just a form of trading that kind of improves your options if you want to trade on the market, and want to have something that you don't necessarily have to just sit there and watch the market all day long. I have a full-time job. I'm sure a lot of you other guys and girls do. Um, and so I can't afford to just sit and watch the market all day long. So I try to engage in a form of trading that's a little more suited to what I need to do. Um, and then, of course, I just will money that I have from my job, from all my other stuff, I will just use to stack coins and spot. Um, and that's really my main mode of investing in cryptocurrency anyway is spot, and that's I would suggest the same thing to everyone else as well. These sort of projects are really fun and interesting, but uh, until you've had practice with them, and I have not had enough practice with these to invest more than uh, money like this is a hobby essentially for me. Um, my primary activities will be spot, but I do my activities that I do at spot. I probably at some point make videos for you about them. Are sort of automatically trading these big large cap currencies against each other in spot and doing grid trading, very much like this, except except in spot where there's no liquidation value. So I can just set a range, and as long as I have enough money to get the bot to cover the grid for the bot, we'll just put that much money into it and just let it run and let it make its little bit of return on investment for me in spot from its spot trading, and then if the assets perform well in spot and do really great over the next couple of years, then wonderful. But this is a more labor intensive, but also sort of more interesting application of it because it's possible for these to get liquidated, but also using using leverage, you can kind of magnify the amount that you're trading with in these grids. So we have a Cardano bot, an ADA bot, on the daily that is trading. ADA looks ADA is looking pretty good actually right now. It also swung down along with Bitcoin and sort of tested the bottom of its wedge here. Although again, just like with some of these other ones, you can kind of argue that it didn't really test the bottom of the wedge. I just need to redraw the wedge to account for this new low high here. Um, but yeah, so we're on the low side with Cardano. I would probably expect bullish movement over the next couple of days because it just tested this low and now it's going to want to go up. But there's no telling because it has already gone down and tested this low and then come back up. I would have to look at a lower time frame to be more definite about where I think it's going if you wanted to like scalp trade. I expect that Cardano will eventually do well. If anything, kind of doing a little better than Bitcoin in that it pumped along with Bitcoin and is doing price discovery. Um, but it seems to be, well, no. I don't know. It's doing. This looks to me like it's bound to go down for a correction, and then go back up. ADA is kind of a. Mm, yeah, I mean, kind of the same sort of thing, but I don't know. Like, it's already kind of gone down here. Um, ADA is looking at least as strong as Bitcoin, I guess is what I'm saying. It may soon break to the upside once it gets out of this wedge. But we'll kind of have to see what'll happen with ADA. But for now, our bot is doing lovely. Liquidation value is sort of down here, and it's not in profit, but it is trading. It's an 8 times bot. Oh, here we go. Liquidation value is uh, this one, this red line right here, and it's still about there. These 8 times bots have not had such a bad time in terms of getting started here relative to 5 times spots. Obviously, the liquidation value is a little closer. I can't use the red area, the red part of this overlay to represent them until it gets down below that. But 8 times leverage seems to have been pretty reasonable so far. We'll kind of see how these go over time, though. Oh yes, and BNB. I I'm wondering if I shouldn't start another bot on BNB with higher leverage here at some point because BNB is all right. So when Bitcoin broke down, BNB went down and challenged the bottom side of this wedge. Although the TA chart analysis being what it is, it's kind of the same sort of thing. I could also just say, well, maybe I just need to redraw the wedge. um, so yeah, no, BNB is doing just fine. This recent challenge Bitcoin doesn't really seem to have created any major issues for BNB. We've got I believe this is a 5 times bot going on this guy, and it's doing just fine. Being 5 times leverage instead of a higher kind of 8 or 10 or 20 or something, it's not going to produce a crazy amount of return on investment from the action of its grid trading, but it should produce something. And also, if BNB does well, then this will do well, just like a long position. Um, so we'll kind of see how this one goes over time. But he's doing just fine. No issues with that one. Okay, and I think that covers the ones that I need to just touch on really quickly. Then we have some speculative ones too that we need to talk about, so I'll make those videos. And yeah, all right. So this is the Trade Game channel. This is Daniel. We have been talking about sort of an overview of trading bots and where price action is for some of these coins. Um, Please like and subscribe. It helps to grow our community here. And right, God be with you. Please be good to one another. I will talk to you later.